Hi, everyone. Welcome to the SoFlo Real Estate Show. Ask Athena and Julie anything. The go-to podcast where we answer all of your questions, everything about real estate here in South Florida. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or a seasoned investor, or just curious about the market, we're here to give you expert advice and the insider tips. My name is Athena Chilicas Barrocas. I'm an award-winning realtor here in Weston, Florida. I would like to welcome my co-host, Julie Dinda of Radius Financial Group, and we are excited to dive into this week's episode. In today's episode, we're going to dive into the top 3 questions home buyers are asking today. So if you're thinking about buying a home, stay tuned for a tip that you will want to know before you get started. And by the way, if this is your first time to the show, go ahead and subscribe and like to get the hottest real estate information. Hey, Julie, welcome to the show. Good to have you here.
Glad to be here, and I'm so excited we're talking about this topic, especially as the market is moving so fast.
Yeah, it's moving fast. And today we're diving into the 3 major questions that's on everybody's mind. So if you're in the market for a new home or just want to be more informed, stay tuned for an informative, engaging episode. So Julie, ready to get started?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Okay, question number 1. Is now a good time to buy a home given interest rates? So one of the hottest questions I'm hearing is about timing, whether now is the right time to buy with an interest rate is being a little bit unpredictable. What do you think, Julie?
Yeah, that's the question on everyone's mind, and it's valid. So, interest rates have gone up compared to those low rates we saw in the past a few years ago. Right now, they're hovering around six, low sixes, higher sevens. But here's the key. It's not just about the rate. It's about affordability and it's about future opportunities.
Okay, so are buyers better off waiting for rates to drop or should they lock in now?
So it depends. I know everyone hates that answer, but it actually depends on your individual circumstance. So rates could go up or they could stabilize. What I always tell my clients is if you find that right home, you can always refinance later if rates drop. Plus, if you wait around, that could actually mean that the home prices will continue to raise and raise and raise. Affordability is about more than just the rate. It's about that total monthly payment and also the budget.
Yeah, good point, Julie. From a realtor's perspective, I have seen buyers regret. And when I say regret, I mean regret. Some of them are still renting. The regret is just huge, but they regret waiting too long because prices in some markets have increased. Even with a slightly higher rate, the overall market remains competitive. Plus, I always remind my clients rent prices are rising too.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah. And for buyers nervous about those high payments, you have tools available for them. So what are some of the tools that
Exactly.
these buyers can count on?
Yeah, exactly. And for buyers that are actually nervous, like you're saying about those payments, we have adjustable rate mortgages, we have buy downs, and all of that can reduce those payment in the early years.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the number one mistake buyers make, if they can afford a home, that they wait because nothing
Eh,
good comes from waiting. They're just buying a home at a higher price and probably a higher interest rate. So
exa-
I agree with you, Julie. If you can buy now.
Exactly.
Okay, question number 2. What are the financial requirements to qualify for a mortgage? So, another major question. What do I need to qualify for my mortgage? Big question buyers have. This one pops up a lot, especially for first time home buyers, Julie. Can you break down what the financial requirements are to our listeners and our audience?
Oh, absolutely. So the big three, I think there's a basketball thing like that too, but the big three that lenders focus on is your credit score, your down payment, and then also your debt to income ratio. So most lenders prefer a credit score at least 620 for conventional loans, but if you're going with an FHA loan, you can sometimes qualify with a score as low as 580. So the down payment is also crucial. Typically, you're looking at anywhere from 3% to 20%, and that's depending on the actual program that you're getting into.
So debt to income ratio, that's a big one. How does that work exactly?
Good question. So we calculate it by comparing your monthly debt payments to your gross monthly income. So lenders genuinely like to see a ratio below 43%. If you're in the VA market, you can kind of go a little higher and maybe do 50%. But typically 43% is good. If you're carrying a lot of debt, you may actually have trouble qualifying for a mortgage, or be offered that higher interest rate. But don't worry. We help buyers to structure their finances and boost their chances. A lot of people don't really understand the debt to income ratio. I had a guy that makes 200,000 a year. He's killing it, but he drives a car that's $2,500 a month, one of those Mercedes G wagons. I'm like, your car payment's $2,500. Your debt to income ratio is all out of whack. So, again, the debts that you bring in also factor into buying a house.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything factors into buying a house. So working with a good lender and a realtor is really going to help. But here's a good question. So if someone isn't quite there yet, whether maybe their credit score or the amount in their savings, what options are there for them, Julie?
So definitely. So for lower credit, there are programs like FHA loans, which are definitely more forgiving. As far as down payment assistance, many states, including ours, thank goodness, offer grants and forgivable loans to help first-time homebuyers. Plus, if you served in the military, VA loans are an amazing option. No down payment, no funding fees. Awesome.
Yeah, those are good points, and there are good options. So I think what I'd like to remind our viewers and our listeners is that not everything is absolute. To talk to your lender, talk to your realtor, and find out what is the best strategy, because not everybody's at the same place.
Absolutely.
Question number 3, Julie. What are the hidden costs of buying a home? So, one of the last big questions that comes up a lot. What are the hidden costs of buying a home? People tend to think it's just a down payment, a monthly mortgage, but there's so much more to it. Go ahead, enlighten us, Julie.
Yes, and this can actually catch people off guard. So first, you have closing costs, and that can range from anywhere from 2 to 5% of that total loan amount. These include fees like your appraisal, your title insurance, and other services that actually help you close the transaction.
Yeah, absolutely. And in today's environment, the other thing we have to remind everybody is because of the NAR settlement, buyers also are now responsible for the obligation of paying their buyer broker commission. That's up to 3%. So there's a lot of costs that come in on the closing side. So yes, 3 to 5%, 3 to 6%, 3 to 8%. It's all in there. So again, you want to make sure that you're talking to your lender and your realtor. But the one thing I don't want people to forget about, especially here in South Florida, is the cost of property taxes and homeowners insurance. South Florida is very different than the rest of our US, and those costs can be a few $1,000s a month if we're not budgeting correctly. Not to mention the HOA fees when we have our communities out
Yeah,
here. So it's very important to know.
exactly. And also there's costs for home inspections, which are critical for the buyer to make sure that that property is in good shape. If you're buying an older home, you might need to set aside funds for maybe fixing something up. And let's not forget those ongoing maintenance costs, like landscaping, maybe a roof repair, HVAC maintenance. There's a lot.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. Owning a home is a long-term investment, and that comes with a huge level of responsibility. What I like to recommend to my clients is to have a savings buffer of at least 1% of the home's value for those annual maintenance items. I think it's important not to be, cash, what would it be? Cash short,
Broke.
I
Yeah,
guess.
cash broker.
Cash broke.
What is that called?
Well, you suffocate because you feel you don't have enough money for some of these repairs. And I don't think you want to see your clients feel that way. I know I don't want to see my clients feel that way.
No, that's actually really great advice. And borrowers should also remember that if you're putting less than 20% down, you'll likely need to pay for private mortgage insurance, which can add to that monthly payment as well. But there's a ways to remove that later once you build up that equity in your house.
And what I really like, Julie, about this discussion is that these are the top three questions. And even though, there's a lot of information, it's all doable.
So
Yeah, right?
doable.
It's so doable. If somebody can afford a house between you and I, between a realtor and a lender, and that's a team, we're always able to figure out how to get our clients to where they need to be.
Absolutely. I always say, there's so many grant programs. You have Hometown Heroes, you have the VA programs. I mean, there's so much that's on the table that we get to use. You just have to know the right avenues to go through, which we luckily do. So let's go. Let's get you in a
Yes,
house.
we sure do. With the 20 years plus on each side with our experience in this industry, we definitely understand. So let's recap those three top questions buyers are asking, Jolie. Do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, let's do it. So is now a good time to buy when the interest rates, given the interest rates?
Yep. Second one is, what are the financial requirements to qualify for a mortgage? And the third, Julie?
Is what are the hidden costs of buying a home?
Well, there you have it, folks. We've covered the top three questions buyers are asking this week. Thanks for breaking it down. Julie, you're the best.
My pleasure. Buying a home is a big decision, but with that right information and guidance, it doesn't have to be overwhelming.
Absolutely. So if you still have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our information is in the description below. And if you're ready to chat, book an appointment.
I'm always happy to chat and help people get into the home of their dreams.
Thanks for tuning in to the SoFlo Real Estate Show. Ask Athena and Julie anything. Until next time, stay informed and happy house hunting. Bye, everyone.